Krishank Mania, the TRS is with us. Also PK Nambiar, well-known political analyst. Thank you both for your time. PK Nambiar, I'm going to begin by asking you, what do you make of what has happened over the course of last 2 days? More so today, where the Prime Minister has actually gone out and said that this is Bhagyan Nagar. He's not referred to Hyderabad as Hyderabad. He's referred to Hyderabad as Bhagyan Nagar. TRS earlier in the day didn't take very kindly to that. But the tone essentially for the elections have been said. PKD Nambiar.
Well, there is a popular perception in the north of India or particularly amongst the national media that BJP is a very weak party when it comes to south. But that's actually not true. As an organization from Kerala to Tamil Nadu to, of course, Karnataka, of course, BJP is ruling over Telangana or in Andhra. The party and both RSS and as well as the BJP is a very, very strong party. Yes, it is true that in many of the South Indian states, they have not been able to become electorally successful. And the gateway, other than Karnataka, if you really look at it, BJP is considering Telangana as there is a political climate which is very pro for the BJP in Telangana right now. Congress is very weak. TRS is already having a large amount of anti-incumbency. So both put together, there is a political climate which is absolutely ready for the BJP as a national party to come in. And I believe that there is the Hyderabad municipal election was one of the, I won't call it like as a semi-final or anything, but it is more of like a launching pad. And from there onwards, if you really look at it, BJP, as we always speak, that it is an electoral machine. It's a 24/7 active political party that it never takes even a smallest of break.
Okay.
I think this particular national, the Karyakarani Samiti meeting which is taking place there is very, very significant from the point of view of that, yes, BJP is not just a North Indian party. From a North Indian party image, it has gone to the entire Northeast is now under its in his power, and in South too. I think it's going to make a big impact.
Point taken. I'm going to come back to Krishank Mane in just a few moments from now because I want to bring in Rahul Srivastava on this point. Rahul, earlier we were talking about how, barring Karnataka, the BJP really has its task cut out in the rest of the southern India states. But here, PKD Nambiar seems to be suggesting that, so what if there haven't been electoral gains? The party has built its base. The cadre is ready, the workers are game. What do you have to say about this, Rahul?
Yes, Sneha, I think he is right. That's half the picture. Why I say that, yes, RSS has worked very hard in southern states. There is absolutely no denying. But despite the RSS hard work, the BJP's lone toehold in South India emerged in Karnataka. And that emerged because they had two things. One, a very strong leader, that is B.S. Yadurappa, and a very dominant caste, the Lingayats. Till they had this combination, Karnataka was a no-go for the BJP. Now, do they have that kind of a ground in Tamil Nadu, Andhra Pradesh, Telangana or in Kerala? No. But the BJP has been making serious efforts to make inroads in the states. And I think by holding the national executive here, by targeting the manner in which it is the TRS, it is declaring a war and is creating a signs of an invasion. What the BJP strategy is, if you see in the last 4 days what the BJP has done, for example, there is a very delicate effort which is very widespread to find out what the state is, what's happening in the state, what the state thinks. 119 senior leaders were sent to 119 constituencies for 48 hours. They were asked to stay with people, dine with people, Dalits, STs and others, and bring back feedback on what is working for the TRS, what is failing for the TRS, and what can work for the BJP. That kind of inputting is happening. Then the BJP realizes that 56% of the state is OBC. Two of the top leaders of the state BJP belong to that community. The BJP is trying to woo the community. Then the BJP's overarching discourse is Hindutva. See, for example, Bhagyanagar. When the Prime Minister thanks the workers, he thanks workers of Bhagyanagar. That's a contentious issue, polarizing element. The BJP is working on that. So the BJP is trying to build a whole bouquet of issues to attack the TRS and make itself, I think, primarily as a good second player
Alternative.
in Telangana. If you see the line Prime Minister said, which is very interesting, I would like to mention, कि तुष्टिकरण से तृप्तिकरण, from appeasement to fulfillment. That appeasement element is targeted at polarization. So the BJP is going with all the elements into Telangana now. It will have to wait. I don't think it's going to happen overnight, but definitely the BJP has declared war.
All right. Prashant Mane, what do you make of what has happened in the last 2 days? The BJP has gone all guns blazing. The Prime Minister has raised several issues, including that of family politics, accused the TRS of only, catering to one particular political family. Also spoken about the fact that when it comes to development, the TRS government has failed.
It took a dozen of chief ministers, the whole of cabinet of India, and none other than Shri Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji to challenge our Chief Minister KCR ji. And having someone like Piyush Goyal ji, who hails from a family of a 3-time MLA, his mother Chandrakanta Goyal ji, and the Union Minister Ved Prakash Goyal ji, talking about family politics is hilarious. This is the regular script. People expect something new, but it took Bharatiya Janata Party to fill the ground. They had to rope in people from other states. We saw Karnataka buses with people, crowds coming and filling the grounds here. That is the ground situation of Bharatiya Janata Party. And yesterday, Honorable Chief Minister KCR ji has put up pertinent questions which nowhere neither Narendra Modi ji or any of the cabinet ministers addressed. And this 8 years, in 8 years, this was the 8th visit of Narendra Modi ji, and yet again political. We didn't hear any explanations or any campaign of Narendra Modi ji that he has done so and so things for Telangana, because they haven't given a single penny for any irrigation project, or they haven't given us the ITIR which was promised, or the rail coach factory. There were many numerous promises which they haven't given at all. But interestingly, the Prime Minister of India, when the Bharatiya Janata Party cannot explain what they've done, they come up to one simple thing: changing of names. The same thing Narendra Modi ji also has proposed, that they want Hyderabad as Bhagyanagar. If they really had love for the Bhagyanagar, we would like to remind that Prime Minister of India and his government of India has till date not given a single penny under the National Disaster Funds in 2020, which was even telecasted when Hyderabad had the severe floods.
Okay.
That is their love.
Okay.
They do not have anything to explain for what they have done to Telangana or the nation. So definitely they have come here for politics, and the people of Telangana know very well that we are the 4th largest contributor to the Indian economy according to Reserve Bank of India. So no one can say that the financial situation of Telangana is in trouble. We continue to be the largest contributor, and most importantly, we are self-sufficient within the state, because even Government of India is not giving us funds. And in the debts also, Government of India is more worse in condition, and their double engines where they run across bulldozers on, Democrats. Such kind of a situation is not there in Telangana, and this bulldozer Raj or double engine bulldozing or toppling of governments, because we are seeing many cabinet ministers are coming here and threatening that a Maharashtra will be repeated here until and unless there is KCR, there is Telangana Rashtra Samiti, democracy will prevail, and the Telangana government cannot be threatened by the government of India. This is the simple thing which we would like to tell the Bharatiya Janata Party, who needed a entire, this didn't look like a national executive
Prashant
committee
Mane, are
meeting.
you saying that your government has achieved everything? Are you saying that the
Telangana
TRS government has got
executive
nothing to
committee.
achieve anymore, they've achieved everything, and that there is no real threat from the BJP? Who's your opponent then in the upcoming assembly elections? Prashant Mane.
That the people will decide. Let the people decide who is the opponent. We are in government, we will continue to work. We do not have any power crisis unlike Gujarat, water crisis unlike any other BJP ruled states. We do not have any law and order issues like Karnataka or many other states. So our government is definitely standing up as a model, and that is why the Bharatiya Janata Party needed to do their executive committee meeting. The entire bandwagon came to challenge one man, KCR. And yes, we are proud of it that we took on the Vishwaguru Narendra Modi and Bharatiya Janata Party. Definitely these jumlas will continue. They have done that earlier also. In these 8 years we have seen. What have they done to Telangana?
Okay.
The Palamuru Rangareddy project, irrigation project, Sri Narendra Modi ji promised in 2014 when he came that he will give a national status. 8 years, madam, 8 years. And till now, they haven't given a national status or a single penny. So there are many such jumlas which Narendra Modi ji continues to escape. He comes here, gives a political bashanbazi and leaves back. But he doesn't want to answer. We have questioned this in the parliament. We have requested numerous times to the cabinet ministers. This government of India denied our farmers produce. Piyush Goyal ji came here. They had our farmers produce. They had in lunch these 2-3 days. They had our farmers produce. But they did not dare to buy the paddy of Telangana farmers. We have protested. So definitely,
Rahul, do you believe that
now these all
TRS
people
is in
have
a
come
position now, just like Mamata Banerjee was in West Bengal, to retain the state of Bengal, with the TMC giving a tough challenge to the BJP in spite of all the efforts it made in Bengal? TRS is going to give the same challenge to the BJP in Telangana. Rahul?
Certainly, Sneha. I think there is, of course, in Indian politics, 1 year is a terribly long time, and political parties make a lot of mistakes. And I think TRS benefited from the fact that it was at the spearhead of the creation of a separate state of Telangana, and the people loved the party for that. They have voted for that party. Not only that, it had that momentum. Then it had a leader in KCR. He addressed, perhaps he epitomized the struggle for the state. The second point is that the schemes of the state government initially had tremendous momentum and traction. The people loved the schemes. They were in fact flagship schemes which were emulated by the other states also, like the Raitu Bandhu. But over a period of time, anti-incumbency does set in. The Telangana TRS is still a force to reckon with. It's not going to be an easy to dislodge force. It has got the right voters' support for different demographies in the state. I think it still has a lot of momentum going for it, and BJP is too new. It does not have the cadres at the grassroots and the ground. The BJP is trying to build that. That's what I say. That the idea is not for the BJP, is not in Bengal, for example. If you recall the election campaign, Mr. Amit Shah talked about 200 seats in Bengal. They got 70. Perhaps the idea is to energize and enthuse the cadres to a level that they actually start fighting and struggling for that space in a state and start challenging the TRS. And that is why the Prime Minister, I will say that some very interesting things have happened. The BJP, the way it is going against the TRS, but it's doing a lot of work on the ground. In Hyderabad, for example, there were meetings of party leaders with 14 different communities. Now, why were these meetings? These were meetings very small demographic groups like Assamese, Punjabis and others who are outsiders who have settled down in Telangana. The BJP is wooing them. The BJP is wooing the OBCs, creating a polarized atmosphere, Bhagyanagar. All these are part of a larger effort. But I think today's meeting also means something, brought something more for the BJP, with Prime Minister trying a course correction. In his speech, he talked about the Sapta Sutra, means 7 commandments, in which there was Santulan, Sanyam, Samanvay, Samvedana and Samvad. Restraint, balance, compassion. I think the Prime Minister is telling the party, perhaps because of the controversies over the Nupur Sharma episode, the Broha outside internationally, and perhaps it's an attempt of image correction. The Prime Minister is telling the party that to expand the base in newer territories, the party needs to bring in more values and newer values into the system. So the party is not fighting for the number 1 right now. It is trying to become a credible number 2 to threaten TRS.
Okay. Krishank Mane, do you think that beginning has been made? You were in fact wanting to come in when Rahul was talking. You can make your point.
I'd like to correct Rahul ji, with all due respect, that yesterday, from couple of weeks, the Raitu Bandhu scheme, which generally every season, twice in a year, direct investment of transfer of money goes into the account. The farmer gets a mobile SMS that the money are into his account. Such a scheme yesterday also the farmers got the amount which they had to. So there is no hassle with our flagship schemes like Raitu Bandhu or Dalit Bandhu. It is a welfare state and welfare schemes. We continue to stand by the promises for the people of Telangana. That is our priority, and not just within Telangana. If you see, KCRG has asked pertinent issues across the nation and even international issues. But Modi ji doesn't speak about the Sri Lankan accusations on Modi ji and Adani ji. Neither regarding to the Bharatiya Janata Party leader who has created a mess where Supreme Court is commenting, where international nations are commenting, or even Prime Minister Modi ji going and campaigning for US presidential elections. This was supposed to be a national meeting, right? He was here. Yashwant Sinha ji was here. We expected that the Prime Minister of India, the Bharatiya Janata Party National Executive Committee meeting, there would be some national discussions where Modi ji would speak because he's a Prime Minister.
No, there were conversations. They have spoken about their political resolution. So it's not like the other issues outside of Telangana have not been touched. But PKD Nambiar, final comments from you on what really is going to be the strategy of the BJP given the manner in which the killing in Udaipur has been brought up, also the manner in which the Prime Minister, not just the other chief ministers, not just Yogi Adityanath, the poster boy of Hindutva, but the Prime Minister himself has referred to Hyderabad today as Bhagyanagar. Will this strategy really pay off in Telangana?
See, well, it's in the media which we keep discussing the BJP is changing or BJP's ideological base is changing and etc. But I think BJP as a party has always stood by its ideology, whether it is from the chief, all the chief ministers to the top leaders to the Prime Minister is still the same. The only thing which I wanted to correct you here is that it is not the TRS is challenging or the TMC is challenging the BJP, but in these two places, because these regional parties are big, this national party BJP is becoming the challenger. If you really look at it, BJP has suddenly become a real force from almost like a negligible presence. It became a 70-odd seats of major opposition party in the case of West Bengal. Same is happening here. So here the thing which if you really look at it, that the KCR is going all across the country, trying to portray himself more than a chief minister, like a prime minister candidate. He is talking about that he speaks wonderful Hindi, wonderful English, and he is trying to portray he is the prime ministerial candidate on to the Mr. Narendra Modi. But on the contrary, there is something which he is seriously missing, that there is a large amount of anti-incumbency which is taking place in Telangana, both by
PKD Nambiar, I'm afraid I have to leave it at that. And I know the point that you're trying to make here. But that brings us to the end of this edition. We'll, of course, continue to discuss and debate this in days and weeks to come as the state heads to elections next year. I'm going to thank all my guests here.